guys, welcome to this video. Thanks for tuning in to my office. I'm just sitting parked, and I'm going to do a little energy update. Whenever I'm in between working with someone or have these downloads in my car, I just want to tap into them so I can share them with you guys. So I've been doing this a lot more. All right, I'm just going to go into flow. Taking a deep breath in and allowing yourself to kind of settle into your body, your vessel, if you will. And recognizing that our vessel is in tune with our thoughts. And so if our thoughts are out of tune with what it is that we wish to tune into, it is important to recognize when this is coming up. It's giving us the opportunity to see beyond what it is we think we are seeing right now. When we tune into our vessel and how we feel, it allows us to tap into a coherency. It allows us, so when I say that, I always see the three hairs. It's the knot, the slip knot, the ability to fall into, so it's basically listening in communication with everything rather than just being stuck in our thoughts. Recognizing when our thoughts are being limiting or limiting us, and seeing beyond that. For as we allow our thought constructs to break apart, if you will, we can look in between the thoughts and realize or feel into where they began, how they started and were created. Are the thoughts something that I am tuning into because of habitual patterning? Or am I tuning into these thoughts because it's something that feels important within my own I'm hearing prospective. So it's like prospecting for gold. And when we tune back into our heart frequency, when we come into a place of coherence, it allows us to divinate. It allows us to come back into oneness and see the divinations of divinity that we are all a part of. It allows us to connect into a full source stream, unity consciousness meld, if you will. This melding, this melting pot, this ability for us to feel into the Holy Grail. When I say pot, I'm saying the Holy Grail chalice, the cup. It allows us to recognize and penetrate deeper into the folds of our abilities, our ability to go into the depths of our capabilities, expanding our accessibility. I'm seeing circumferentry, the circle, the radius, expanding out. And I'm seeing, I could play with these words a little bit more. Divination is to be able to see the future. And I was shown over and over again, the heart tube going out of the chest when we come into coherence, and then we step into that space. Therefore, we're projecting from the heart what it is that coherence is, which is compassion, the ability to stay in a space of neutrality. It's feeling balanced. I mean, these aren't the exact definitions of it, but when we're in that space, it's a wave, right? I think we call it a sine wave. And that is our signal. That is our sign that we are moving forward in the right angle, in the right direction, matching up with the right angles. Easier to feel into the juxtaposition and counter spin accordingly. For we play the tune, if you will. We play with the tunes and allow ourselves, I'm hearing quartet, allow ourselves to fine tune our instrument of divine design. I've been writing about this a lot. We are then able to scale back on the false harmonics that are creating the noise. And I'm just seeing us like we're breaking through this veil, and we're seeing behind it. We're hearing behind it. We're feeling, well, wait a minute, the facade. This can be with programs that we watch. It can be with people that we've been tuning into. It can be music that we listen to. And I'm being guided to go a little deeper into this. We might be listening to someone who's been a teacher for a very long time that we've always admired and we've always trusted what it is that they share with us. And all of a sudden, the tune just sounds off. And we're really being invited to recognize that and to tune deeper into that and go, why does this sound off? We may not get direct answers as to the why, but by asking questions about how we feel about something, it helps us to tune into our why. And the why that we're maybe not matching up with their frequency, it could be that our vibration is lower and we're in a bad mood and we don't want to listen to these positive speakers. It may not be what we need to hear right now. It might be that the information that they have to share with us is irrelevant for our own growth. It might be relevant in a week from now for us. Have you guys ever turned a video on and it was exactly what you needed to hear right then and there? And other times you were looking to listen to something and you just couldn't listen to anything, or you wanted to read a book and you're just like, I just can't get into this right now. Sometimes it's our ability just to feel into, maybe this isn't for me right now. It doesn't have to be that we judge that person, place, or thing, because we might judge it and say this is wrong, but it was only wrong because we were looking at it from a lower perspective, and vice versa. We could be looking at something and it just doesn't match up, because it might be that our own abilities have accelerated, and it's not a hierarchy thing. It just means that that particular teacher was helpful for us when we were here. And again, it's not a hierarchy thing, when we were at this vibration. Now we're at this vibration and we're out vibrating them. And this isn't set out of judgment. This isn't set out of, oh, I'm better than that person because I'm a higher vibration. That would be ego. And that would be an old paradigm of the way people used to look at things. I'm more spiritual than you. And some people are still in that space and there's no judgment. But what I'm basically hearing is some people are going to fall off their pedestals, and it's a far fall for some and not for others. It's also a far fall for those who have put those people on pedestals. Because if we're not listening to our inner guidance and we think we're here, but we're really not, it can feel rough, right? All of a sudden we're like, man, I was really duped. We all get duped from time to time, right? But what I'm being guided to share is finding our own vibrational match of coherence helps us to recognize when something's out of alignment, whether it be a person, whether it be someplace we shouldn't go, where it's not necessarily, our inner danger button, or sometimes we're being drawn to a certain area so that we can meet a certain person that's then going to give us the opportunity for growth, expandability. And I'm going back into flow with the words here. I'm hearing expendability versus expandability. What is expendable? Is there something that we're trying to hold on to that just isn't allowing us to create at our highest potential? And as we sync back in with our own inner awareness and we sync back up with all of the abilities that we have perhaps let go, ignored, let fall to the wayside, we come back into the inside, into the inner way. I'm hearing where there's a will, there's a way, and I'm also hearing, what is it? Star Wars. May the Force be with you. But it's the way, right? I think it's Mandalorian, right? It is the way. Is it though? So that's also something we're being invited to ask. Well, this is the way it was done. Maybe it was done that way, but we're in a whole new world. I'm hearing it's a small world after all, and I'm hearing Disneyland. So yeah, when I was 10, that was the way. Now it's not the way anymore. So I'm also hearing get out of our own way. So sometimes when we get lost in translation, we get stuck in this need to figure everything out, we then find ourselves lost in the past. Okay. So I'm recognizing that there's a cycle that's happening right now where there's a lot of people who are, again, lost in confusion, and they're confused about who to listen to and who to talk to. And spit bubble. Bubbles everywhere. Right. How should they be talking? How should we be acting? And really, it's easy to get lost in all of that. And when we feel that way, go back into the basics. Breathe, prayer. For me, prayer is meditation. It's different for everyone. Talking with our highest aspect, asking to connect with our soul signature, asking to connect with our highest self, if you want to call it that, our soul spark, asking to connect with the source of our creation, if we want to call it that, whatever linguistics resonates with us. And when we go back into that space of the heart, or I'm being shown also, just go into the body and close your eyes and ask to connect fully with the heart, the organ, and see what it has to share with us. What that does is it changes our vibration immediately, almost immediately, and it helps us to get back into our center so that we can then watch the whirlpool around us spin up our emotions and spin up our feelings, but we don't get lost in the spin, because we're creating a new spin from within, and that creation from that spin is our own toroidal field that is allowing us to interact with our environment, our people, places, and things in such a way that we're able to then translate what is right there in front of us. So again, I keep hearing this lost in translation. That's something that's going on right now. It's not necessarily about what's being said. It's about the energy behind the words. So I talk in riddle all the time. I talk in code. I talk in a certain poetic form a lot. And it's not necessarily to be taken literally. And if I want to talk literally or linearly, I will. But I'm a creative being, and this is my form of creation. Therefore, that's fun for me, right? So that brings me into heart-centered joy and frequency, which can then be expressed and felt in my own creative way. Each of us has something that we find joy in. So we're really being invited to go back to that as often as we can. And I'm being guided to kind of share, that doesn't mean bypassing and pretending like we're not upset when we're upset. That wouldn't be balanced. It's saying, I feel upset right now. I'm feeling confused. I'm feeling sad. And then taking that moment to acknowledge, recognize, we're not identifying with I am depression or I am sad. We are not the sadness, right? That is a feeling that our body is trying to tell us something is trying to communicate with us. Something is out of balance. So come back into focusing on, I'm breathing. Breathing in, I calm my mind. Breathing out, I release and let go. Little quick mantras. And then say, now how do I feel? I may not feel happy after that, but guess what? Usually I don't feel as lower frequency as I might have 2 minutes before I did that. So I'm being guided to share this because we're still in it. A lot of us are still in it. A lot of us are coming out of the last cycle of trauma, emotions, truths that are being exposed. And for some of us, I'm hearing, we've only just begun. What is that, a 70s song? Cheesy 70s, yacht rock. And I'm just hearing it's gonna rock people's yachts. And then I'm hearing Yahtzee. Isn't Yahtzee a word game? I'll have to look that up. So the more we communicate with our vessel, and the more we move in that state of inner knowingness and awareness, the less, I'm hearing vestibular. This might be something I have to write down. Lots of plays on words. It's one of those days. Happy 11/11, by the way, you guys. So maybe I will talk a little bit about portals since we're in a portal day. 11:11. Deo makoshte onet ik ewaha ene want ishte makona tia makoetia ninidiki nak alehenek o nere erik ila nek ine kile na o nokole na ak era de ek ele nek ole nek elele o amakan ela dinikile nek ior ak elene tila at ik ine lele o nono on et ina na ole enek ele ona Nuna nile mon nala nak e nene on ol ahet ela nile am anok onehe nile au or enile ha onek ele. Little light language. And for us, certain tones are compatible with frequencies. When we allow ourselves, I'm just hearing to capitulate. So I'm seeing like on a map, when you turn in that direction of the map and then you follow that star, right? Your North Star, your inner North Star, it allows you then to see the whole map and realize where you are in position. Rather than seeing it as an imposition, rather than seeing any of this as an imposition, we are being invited to see this as being in position to be able to move forward, letting go of our expectations about how this should look, letting go of the idea of how it should sound. This has been an ongoing message over and over again. Step back into our own self-worth. For then we allow ourselves to feel into our vast value. I'm seeing the golden means, the golden spiral, layering up, if you will, invaluable. This allows us to recognize that which should truly be valued and see through the false projections of others trying to overstate their value and self-worth to get others to buy into their program. For we are all beyond, many of us at least, this stage of salesmanship. For we are steering our own vessels. We are seeing through. We are allowing our ship to be steered and sailed by our own point of view and perspective, yet coming into a greater forbearance. Play on words. For as we allow ourselves to step into this more expansive place, I'm seeing the forebearers, the people before us that assisted us, but now we're able to see them and beyond. So we're stepping over a threshold is essentially what I'm hearing. And this has to do with the portals. So I keep seeing like Jason and the Argonauts, is that what it is? I'm seeing like us on a ship in space. Maybe it's the Earth. And our own body is the vessel, it's our ship. And so sometimes the wind will take us and pull us in this direction. If we're not setting our course and we're not recognizing that, we end up letting someone else steer our ship. And again, this is reference back to salesmanship, sales, the ship. So certain people feel that they really have to sell their idea and paradigm and story about what reality is and how it exists. And some of us are taking a step back going, I might have believed that at one time, but that no longer sits well with me. It no longer is really who I am. Okay, I'm going to keep going and I'm going to do video 2. So, in love and light, guys. Namaste.